What up, y'all? Today I'm gonna be teaching a class for y'all who want to become artists. I just finished eating up some grub, so I'm feeling kind of good right now. But anyways, yeah, for those people who want to learn a little bit about how becoming an artist, I'm gonna be talking about that today. I'll talk about why I decided to become an artist. I actually consider myself an executive producer, but I'll get into the differences a little bit later on. I'll wait for a few more people to get to come in, and then I'll talk a little bit about what's going on. So right now, we're in my home studio, and before I get into a lot of what involves my studio, I'll tell you how I got started. So back when I was in middle school, going into high school, I really fell in love with music. And I think that I fell in love with music after I heard some music by KRS-One, some music by MC Ren, especially this is hip hop that I was really into, and even the Ghetto Boys. I figured out that I could take cassette tapes, and I could make copies of them by putting one on the one slot, and on the other side, I could put like a blank tape, and I could copy that whole tape onto another tape. So I would figure out how to kind of dub the tapes. So that kind of got me exploring into like music, and I have my little whiteboard here in case I need to write anything down. I'll probably have to flip it. So once I started messing around with the technology, I figured out that I could actually grab a microphone, connect it to like a receiver that I had, and I could rap and then record those vocals onto a tape. So I did that. I was able to find like beats, just beat tapes, and record the beat onto a tape, and then record my vocals on a different tape. And then from there, I was able to take those two things and record one tape and with a whole song where I was rapping over the beat. So what I found was that I could create music, and not only create it, but also distribute the music. So that was my first taste of kind of like recording. So recording with analog, which is different than recording and digitally. One of the things that I loved to do when I first got started doing music was I used to rap battle my friends on the bus. And also, when I was living in Dorchester, we would rap on the corner right before getting onto the bus. So we did a bunch of freestyle battles and things like that, and that got me more interested in, music rather like songwriting. So I started looking into like what 16 bars were, and to me, 16 bars were kind of like a rhyme scheme. So a lot of rappers that I listened to back during that time, we're talking about 97, 98, 99, early 2000s. They always kind of had 3 verses, and each verse was about 16 bars. Now, depending on who you ask, bars mean different things. If you're a songwriter, mostly, the bars are pretty much the ending of a rhyme. Right, so you might say something like, "Hey, you look very fine. Staring at you, I might run out of time." So that's 2 bars. So that should fall on the snare. So a person who makes beats would say like, "Yeah, that's 2 bars, but based on the beat, not necessarily based on the lyrics." Either way, they're the same thing. It's just pretty much a different view or a different perspective of it. So So understanding one of the first things about music or becoming an artist is understanding how music is created, right? And that's the process that a lot of people ask me. And for years and years, people have been asking me about this. And to me, I didn't realize that my experience was just different. I just figured, like, I thought everybody knew the process of recording, or the process of making a song. So that's what I have to kind of start with. So back in the day, a lot of people recorded on analog, which was pretty much the method that I explained earlier, with using kind of like tapes, beat tapes, and also like using a vocal tape and then getting both of those to be recorded on one tape. So I started recording these disc tapes to my friends that went to Wellesley. So I was a Metco kid, and some of my friends used to rap. One of my buddies said to me, like, these kids are rapping, why don't you make a diss tape to them? And he gave me all the dirt on all these guys, some of my buddies, and I started dissing them on tapes. So my friend would come over and he would say, yo, this person, was wearing this person smells or whatever, and this person blah blah blah. So I would go into my room and I would record a diss track to my friends. So that's the beginning of like me distributing music. They would sometimes reply by having a diss tape sent back to me where I would listen, or they would invite me to come up to the school and battle them. So those are kind of like the beginnings of this is before I even published any picture of myself or published any work out that's on the internet. So that's the beginning kind of like recording. So how to become an artist, right? That's a question that's very complex, but we're gonna explore it as in depth as possible. And you can comment in the comment box, and I will try to answer your questions. So, recording a song, right? Some people ask me, like, what goes first? Is it the lyrics? Is it the beat? And my answer is that it's either or, right? You can get a beat and write to it, and you can create a chorus, and you can then develop verses. Your song might have an intro, which is the introduction, the beginning of the song, and it may have like a bridge, which is kind of like what comes after the second verse, or it comes after the second chorus. And we'll get into song structure a little bit later, but essentially, when you become an artist, you have to understand how music is created first. So nowadays, we're living in a digital world. If you're an artist like myself, you actually like to write the music first. And what I mean by that is you'll write kind of like your thoughts, like a brainstorming session. So when you might want to write a song about love, right? So you might want to just jot some notes down about what you're thinking about. It might not have any structure whatsoever, but that can be developed into song structure. All right, so becoming an artist involves you understanding the recording process. So that's number one. Nowadays, people record digitally. My first experience recording digitally was with one of my boys from high school. And we used to visit this guy in Chelsea. And this guy in Chelsea had a program called Sonar. He also made beats. So we used to observe him loading our vocals onto the session. And the session is basically where the beat is playing on the digital platform, and where the software rather. So you have like a track that represents the beat, and then you have a track that represents the vocals. So what happens is basically you can grab a mic that's connected to your computer, and that allows you to put your vocals in. Then from there's a whole nother process where the engineer, which is the person who kind of receives your vocals, who's the one kind of pressing the record button for you, that person will like edit your vocals or the beat if you made the beat. And it's not really called editing in music, it's called mixing. So what happens is you essentially mix down the vocals. Like let's say I said the word pop and it sounds like too hard on the p. He might edit that out or cut the popping sound that comes off on the microphone, and it'll sound more natural. Because when you record, depending on what type of microphone you have, it doesn't sound completely natural. So the recording process is essential to understand first. So mixing, and I'm probably gonna talk a lot about what these things are later on when I get into more details. But you lay your vocals down with the engineer. He mixes it. If he's a mastering engineer, then he'll master that track, and I'll get into more details about that later. So number one is understanding the recording process. And if you don't understand the recording process, then you need to educate yourself on that. So I'll get into more details about the recording process later on, but essentially we all live in a digital world where you will need a computer and a computer software that's able to take your vocals and take your beat or instrumental together so that it can be placed together, and that it can be taken out of that software and into your phone, into the digital world, Facebook, whatever social media thing that you have. So number one is understanding the recording process, right? So another thing that you have to do if you want to become an artist is to decide what type of music you want to put out. And once you kind of decided what you want to put out, you put it out there. Now, what do I mean by putting it out there? You have to publish it. So, there are a lot of things that people don't know about publishing, and I'll get into more details later. It's more complex than just posting something on Facebook or posting something on the internet. So definitely, recording music, becoming an artist involves, you need money, right? And you don't need a lot of money. So let me explain. You need to purchase the equipment that you need to record yourself with, if you're gonna do it yourself. If you're not gonna do it yourself, you need to see a music engineer, and a music engineer will help you load your tracks, or your beats rather, into their software and help you record. So that's number one. Then from there, you got to decide how you want to appeal to the people who you hope are going to listen to your music. So you kind of have to brand yourself, or think about the art, because some of the art in your music is extremely important. In fact, it's one of the most important things that you need to do in your music. So how to become an artist, you have to think about, once you have a track or a song, what do you have to do next? you should definitely think about a cover. So, you know, who's going to be your graphic designer to create that cover? Now, you can take a picture of yourself and you can just put that as the cover of your song. And some people might think it's great, but if it doesn't look professional, then it might not get the type of reception that you want. All right, so you have to really think about how your image is portrayed in the media, right? So when I first started recording professionally, I will say that I started going to a recording studio in Roxbury. So I would I had these ideas and these concepts in my head, and I decided to create a song. And when I created that song, I started looking into song structure. And I had learned a little bit about song structure, or more about song structure rather, from a music teacher who happened to be my coworker. And I always knew that the rappers that I liked, they always kind of had like one verse, chorus, verse number 2, chorus, verse number 3. Maybe the chorus would fade out at the end. But I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different. As I looked at song structure, I realized that some songs have an introduction, first verse, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus, verse, chorus, outro. So there's different types of song structure, and there's different number of bars in each verse. So you might have a song that has mostly choruses. There's a song by XXXTentacion, which was, number 1 right during the time of his death. If you listen to that song, he really only has one verse. The rest of it is chorus. So he has a song with one verse and 3 choruses. Nowadays, the song structure doesn't really matter. If the song sounds good and people like it, people will play it. So you have to really think about what your style is and put that out there. So for me, I love reggaeton, so I wanted to do reggaeton first. That was the first thing I wanted to do. I love hip hop, but hip hop, reggaeton is a diaspora of hip hop and reggae. Hence the name reggaeton. So the first song that I actually recorded is a Christian song, and even though I was raised Catholic, one of the songs I wanted to write was about my deep feeling towards being a Christian, or rather being saved at that time, right? I was going through a lot, but I felt like I was moved when I had attended a church, and I went back and I wrote about my feelings, and I decided that I was going to write this song with an intro, all right, a verse, chorus, another verse, bridge, chorus, the last verse, and then the outro. And that was the first song I ever recorded with a producer from Roxbury. He has since moved out of the state, and I can give you guys more details about that. Remember, this is the free version. Eventually, you're going to get more details about the class. By the way, I'm giving out these shirts, and if you want one, inbox me. I'll hook you up with it. So once I recorded that one song, I decided I was going to write another song. And the ideas just kept coming to me. And I asked the producer to make me a beat based on the type of song that I wanted to put out there. So basically, what I did was, bring him lyrics, bring him my verses. I brought him a song that I may have wrote out, and I shot ideas with him back and forth. And then I would tell him, like, these are the sounds that I like. And he was a producer and an engineer. So what I decided to do was use his expertise to kind of get the sound that I wanted. So since I was a big fan of reggaeton, I would say to him, like, hey, this is my chorus. We would start out with the chorus, and I would say, this is my chorus. And it would be like that, like the song Chillin', for example. And my song Chillin' went #1 in El Salvador. The song Chillin', I had recorded previously with somebody else, and I took it to him and I showed him the beat, and he decided to recreate it, and I told him the type of sounds that I wanted. So one thing I want to talk about is the reason why I did that was because before I was dealing with the producer in Roxbury, I was dealing with someone, a buddy of mine who is a producer as well, but he didn't like to mix and master. That was something that he outsourced. He got engineer, somebody else to do the mixing, the mastering. But he created the beats. So for me, he was kind of like driving the sound and driving his sound, because we didn't have like a business relationship at the time. So I didn't really have control over like what the beats sounded like. So the beats were cool. Like he liked the beats, but I wasn't really completely satisfied with those beats. Although I do think he's a great producer. I wanted a certain type of sound. So when I went to my producer in Roxbury, he was able to kind of create the sound that I wanted. So I would bring to him maybe two reference tracks. And a reference track is just a track that you bring to somebody as a reference for when they do their work. That's all that means. Like, they might listen to the beats on it, and they might then create a similar sound for you. It doesn't have to be like the exact similar sound, but it might be something in a different key, in a different tone, different drum set. But it gives kind of like the producer a guide to make the song for you, how you want it. So that's really important for your artist to kind of get the sound that you want. So I like that traditional like reggaeton that's more like that old school Daddy Yankee from 2004, Don Omar from like 2006, and those were the sounds that I really enjoyed. Prior to me making those songs, I recorded semi-professionally, and I say semi-professionally because the people that I recorded with had all the equipment, and the quality of sound was good, but I didn't really understand what publishing was or what all of that was. So it's really important for you to get those things under control. And I would say this, like in the beginning of becoming an artist, you're probably gonna make a lot of mistakes, and you will probably also run into some people who will try to take advantage of you. And I'll get into more details about that later on, but the essentials are, number one, learn song structure, right? Also learn how to write to a beat, unless you're gonna create your own beat or have a producer create the beat for you. Sometimes things change, like the melody. Starting out with a melody or chorus is really important. So let me just explain melody. Like a melody, and based on whoever you ask, it might be something different. We're talking about like my perspective on what a melody is. It might be like let's say my song Chillin', like I go, I'm just chillin'. The melody might be like, So the melody might be something that kind of like drives the rhythm or the beat in the song. So understanding like you might want to start with the chorus. You might want to start with the chorus to your song. Once you kind of have like a chorus, you might take that chorus to a producer. He might create a beat for you. You might take that beat back, and then you can kind of write to it. And when you write to it, that's when you decide, you want first verse. Do you want it to be 8 bars? Do you want it to be 16 bars? Do you want it to be 4 bars? Do you want it to be, whatever you choose. Do you want your chorus to have a pre-chorus? Because that's all songwriting stuff. So you want to think about the structures of songwriting. Intro, verse 1, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, outro. Those are things that's like the structure of a song. That's a structure. There are many different types of structures. So you got to really think about what structure you want to choose, because if you don't have a structure, you might just be rapping throughout the whole beat. And I remember one of my buddies wanted to get into music, and I sent them to an engineer, and the engineer pulled up a beat, and homeboy started rapping throughout the whole beat, and he just rapped throughout the whole beat, and the engineer was kind of looking at him like he was crazy because he had absolutely no structure. Now, I didn't know that he didn't know the song structure, so I just recommended him to go see an engineer. I wasn't gonna do it. I can't engineer. At that time I wasn't willing to engineer for him. So it's like definitely a process to learn how to do music, and because you're gonna go into it. I had a couple of students who I taught who wanted to record because they knew I was recording, and they came to record with me, and I said, all right, well, I'm gonna help you write your verse to a song, and when we wrote the verse, I put him in the booth. He couldn't stay on beat, so it's really important for you to practice falling on beat. Now, one thing that I'm gonna tell people is that if you want to rap, if you're off beat, it just doesn't sound right. And maybe someone who's always off beat, and he will say it himself, is Blueface as a rapper. And when Blueface is rapping, he don't fall on beat, and you got to think about how you sound. Like the guide that I can tell people, if you want to fall on beat, is that your rhyme should fall on the snare, right? So if your rhyme word is falling on the snare every time, then you're on beat. So it's like, I'm chilling on my couch, bomb, and I ain't no slouch. Like, you'll hear the snare, and if those two words don't fall on the snare, you're off beat. So then I had to explain to my students, like, all right, you're off beat. Let's try to. You got to practice. Like, you got to step him to the side and have him practice. So I told him to practice, and he was practicing over and over. He was able to kind of get on beat. So then after he got on beat, I told him, all right, well, now you got to do it again, because this wasn't perfect. You mispronounced this and you mispronounced that. So he had to do it again. And I wasn't going to punch him in. Punching somebody in is when, you got to like delete a person's word that he said, and then have him record it over and put it in. So it sounds choppy like that. So it's not good to punch in a lot, because it sounds off. So if a person raps their verse, that whole verse should be from beginning to end. Shout out to my man Presidential Grown. We're gonna go live in a few minutes, so we can talk about becoming an artist and what it takes to become an artist. So after my student tried to do his verse, I said, all right, let's do that verse. All right, and then now you got to do it over and over again until you get it right. He did it, and then from there, I said, all right, well, now we got to do in and outs, or what some people call dubs. So he was like, what are those? So I'm like, man, that's when you like, you go in and out from on the rhyme words to emphasize the rhyme. So I might be like, I'm G'd up with my feet up. So when you go back into the booth, you might rap again, just G'd up, feet up, to make sure that that is on the beat, and then when it sounds on the track, it sounds good. So you need to know how to put your verse down, and then put the in and outs into your or dubs, in and outs or dubs, either one, it's the same thing, to make sure that there's an emphasis on the rhyme, right? Then I told him, all right, well, you might want to do ad libs, and he said, what are ad libs? So I'm like, all right, well, ad libs is when you kind of just speak in the background from your verse. So I was explaining to him that when you're rhyming, the person who does ad libs a lot is Young Jeezy. I mean, he goes by Jeezy now because he's grown, but Jeezy, he has ad libs in the back. He might be rapping something, and then in the back he'll go, yeah, or he'll go like, snowman in the background. So those are all his ad libs. Okay. Another thing that I had my student do was, all right, well, now basically you got to do your chorus, and you got to record your chorus like 5 times over in order to sound good. All right, so it's around 7:35. I'm gonna put my man Presidential Grown on, so we can talk a little bit about what it takes to become an artist. All right. So as we wait for him, he'll explain to you a little bit about the process, and all that.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
what's
What's
up, bro?
going on, man? What's up with you, bro?
Chilling, man.
How you, man?
I'm
Huh?
chilling in my home studio, just relaxing. And congratulations to you, man. That Meet the Groans mixtape is off the hook.
Oh, nah, yeah, man. You know, man. Meet the Groans, man. We on deck, man. We on deck with the CDs, man. They showing the love, man. You know what I'm saying?
Cool, cool.
Blood, sweat, and tears, man. In a couple years, but
Yeah. So we going live.
yeah, man. It's the process.
A lot of people been asking me ever since I started doing music, how do you become an artist, or how is music created? So I've gotten that question over and over for years. So naturally, I'm a teacher, so I decided, I'm gonna mix a little bit of my teaching skills with this music thing, and I'm gonna offer a free class. I'm gonna offer a class that people got to pay for later on, but right now, class for those people who want to know. This is gonna be recorded. I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna upload it again and talk to people about how to become an artist. So I just want to ask you that question. How do you become an artist?
Well, it's really like art. You know what I mean? The first word of the art. You know what I mean? And just like you got to keep perfecting your craft, and you know what I mean. You have to start to understand the procedures on how to write a song, like you were saying, a hook. You know what I mean? 16s, beat or beat. Understanding the mathematics of the breakdowns of a beat. If it's 12, you know what I mean? 16, 18. Is it an eight bar chorus? You know what I mean? It depends on what you're doing. You know what I mean? So those are the things that come after the talent. You know what I mean? Everybody could rap. So like to do the music, that's the stuff that comes after once you start to understand what you're doing, you know?
Mm. So what are the type of things that you do for yourself to get in the mood of writing?
Uh I gotta either be going through something or, you know, I gotta be feeling the beat. Or, you know what I mean? I just think about old shit that I went through and I just try to like paint the picture. Cause like all the rappers that I grew up liking, all like, you know what I mean, painting pictures and you know what I mean, let you envision what they was like spitting, you know.
So what were some of the challenges that you came across when you first started writing?
Um, I used to write a lot of half bars. I wasn't really doing a lot of bars. You might as well get him because I'm on this. So yeah. But now I used to do like a lot of half bars. So I used to like, not go all the way through with what I was saying, like the delivery, how I would be saying it. You know what I mean? I wasn't getting my stuff mixed or mastered. So it was like this. It was sounding more like chalky. You know what I mean? Once you start to understand what certain music sounds like, you know what I mean? Like you were saying, as far as the in the industry sound.
Mhm, mhm. So I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes I would hear music from artists and they would say, "Yo, check out my joint." I'm like right now I'm to the point where like I walk around and some people like hand me their mixtapes, and that's something that used to never happen to me before. And
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hand you mine when I see you. I'm
bet.
gonna hand you mine, man. You know that.
So I would hear some of their music and I would be like, "Yo, this is not mixed or mastered. Like it just sounds really bad." So so tell people what that is. First tell us like what is mixing? Like how would you define or how would you explain what mixing is?
Well, I would say mixing is like basically like if we're talking about writing, we're talking about a first draft. No. We're talking about a rough draft. Then we're talking about a second draft. Then I would say I feel like, you know what I mean, once you get to the final draft, which is the mastering, is when everything's fine print, like the breathing, the extra breathing, or the, you know what I mean, like the slurs and stuff all get cut out. You know what I mean? Everything flows.
Mm. So I'm gonna
That's
take a
what
step
makes
back.
it sound good. You know what I mean? You get everything fine cued.
Yep. So I'm gonna take even a step back from that because some people demo a track which starts before like the mixing process. So what they'll do is they'll start with a beat and then they might just say nothing on the beat and then be like mumbling like no 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 ha and the ha and the oh ha and
Oh, you talking about like start rapping?
before they start rapping, or they might record that as a verse and it says nothing. And that's like what people call demoing the track. And they might take that and just listen to it over and over again, and then they'll go back, erase that mumbling that they were doing, and then put their verse in it, their new verse. Like once they figure out, like, all right, well, this is what I wanted to say when I said that. I wanted to be like, when I said ha, I might say like, yeah, because I'm raw, and because I'm like this, and because I'm like that, and up. So they might then fill that up with actual rhymes and actual verses. So before even before even going into the mixing process, some people demo the track and they might go home and listen to it over and over again, and then they come back and they actually get it mixed after they drop their verse. So that's an important thing for people to know because a lot of people will think that, yo, I can't get this whole song done with my studio time, and that's okay because people got to spend more time in order for the process to come through. So I like what you said about the mixing kind of being like the first draft. And what he means by that is that you might lay down your vocals and then realize that, well, there's a couple things I need to change, right? And those might, like you said, those things might be like, yo, the breathing needs to be cut out of here, or the slurs need to be cut out of here. So let's kind of go back, fix it up, and then from there, we'll try to top it up, make it sound better. So now I remember back in when you and I were working on some projects together, you kind of thought that the song was done already after it was mixed, and then I would tell you like, yo, it's mixed, but it's not mastered. So tell us a little bit about what you consider mastering to be.
Well, mastering is basically like when they put all the levels now like on the same type of cue, like they fine print the beats, like the drum sets, whether it be like the bass line, my vocals, everything to be like to a fine cue and everything's leveled. So like once you put it in different like audio outlets, it'll all sound the same no matter where you put it. You know what I mean? It'll be the same volume. So it won't be where I'll be able to just play it somewhere and it be low. And you know what I mean? You won't be able to hear everything. You know what I mean? Once it's mastered, everything pops. You know what I mean? So it's like that's the biggest part that could make or break you. You know what I mean? You could
Mm-hmm.
be spitting some fire shit, But if your shit's not getting mixed properly and then fine printed, mastered, you know what I mean? It's not gonna give it that sound, you know what I mean? So once people hear that and they don't have that sound, they already know just to skip it. They're not even gonna bother to know that they can't really do what they want to do with the track.
Yeah. I appreciate you said that because artists who are out there putting out their music and it's mixed and it's not mastered, the quality of sound is poor, and people in the industry are gonna know.
But not to cut you off, excuse me, but I feel that this is me. You know what I mean? Not everybody is the same. Like, you know what I mean? Politically correct. If you was gonna go to Atlantic Records or something, would I tell you to go over there with your stuff not mastered? No, go with your stuff mastered. But I feel as though if you're for the culture and you're actually, you know what I mean, hands on with it, you know what I mean, and you're continuously putting out work, you know what I mean, and people are hearing what you're saying, and then you finally get it mastered, they see the growth. But not only do they see the growth, you know what I mean, they start to respect it because now they know that you just been giving it to them. You've been giving them the music, you know what I mean? And some people, you know what I mean, some people's attention span is so short that it's like you'll give them a song and you'll try to push it on them like a Jam 94.5, and like it just won't work, bro. Like you'll just be annoying and you'll lose a fan, bro, because it's like this dude's annoying, bro. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to keep hearing the same thing. So sometimes you just gotta keep hitting them with fresh stuff. So like that goes back to me saying, you know what I mean? Like I like the storytelling. I like the painting the picture. You know what I mean? Those are the type of things that I like when I listen to music. Yeah, I like party music when I'm partying. You know what I mean? Yeah, I like turn up music when I'm turning up. But certain things within a song has to make me think, has to make me feel an emotion. So like when I write or when I'm rapping, you know what I mean? It has to be some type of emotion. If there's no emotion to it, then it's not real. You know what I'm saying? I was told a long time ago, I could say, fuck you, and you don't take it as disrespectfully as if I was to be like, yo, fuck you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because it's raw. It's raw. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a fuck you. You know, you say, yeah, he's just playing that out. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? You feel that. So, like, when you're in there and you rapping your lyrics, like, if they're real, if you're really, you know what I'm saying, doing certain things, it's like, you're not going to be like, oh, yeah, free my best friend. I'm like, what? Free your best friend? You're fucking lame. You know what I'm saying? For you really know what you're saying. Free niggas. You know what I'm saying? Free my niggas going through whatever, because that's what it is. That's what you went through. That's what those circumstances breed. That type of language, that type of emotion. You feel me? So certain people like it, you know? So I was telling my mans the other day, I just dropped that Meet the Grooms mixtape. There's gonna be a volume 2. At the end of the day, we're gonna do Meet the Grooms volume 2. But the next one's gonna be for the ladies, man. That presidential suite. That presidential suite, man. You just wanna do it for the ladies, man.
I
That's
appreciate
it.
saying that about the lyrics, the importance of lyrics, because you stress the importance that the lyrics, and a lot of people argue against me, but I'm gonna say this: beats are extremely important. Don't get me wrong. Beats can drive music to be trendy. Beats kind of like change the wave of modern music.
Yeah.
Put out music. A lot of when you put out music, you don't care too much about getting mastered. That's fine, so long as you keep feeding your fans. You got to say. So that's extremely important. That's a good point that you brought. Let me say this: some of these tracks that get out there and they're not mastered, that's okay, because again, at the time it costs a lot of money, right? So if you can't get it mixed and mastered, yeah, I do suggest that you publish it so that you can get heard, because if it's dope, it's gonna sound dope regardless, because you're saying some dope shit. Now, eventually, you can get your shit remastered. So somebody who did that was a very famous artist, Weeknd. So Weeknd put out a few mixtapes, right, and all his stuff he did himself, and you know all those mixtapes. So later, when he really got to that popular place in his career, he released those 3 mixtapes in a trilogy, and then he remastered them, so the sound quality was that much better, and that's when he started getting the attention of all. He already started getting attention from industry people. You know? So we got about 12 minutes on this class. So I want you, Prez, to tell us a little bit about your project. Can you like walk us through some of your songs and like maybe what the song is about, and then what you got to offer for your fans?
Yeah, man. So like right now, you basically read my mind because like I was telling you, right? I'd rather Nah, I'm just telling them to get out of here, man. They making too much noise, man. You know, I got to keep it real, man. They making too much noise. I'm trying to get up out of here, man. This is serious business right here, man.
Mm-hmm.
People are tuning in. They want to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, right? I gotta basically, yeah. So I've been doing a lot of music. So like, as far as like projects and stuff, because I started off like, you know, just battle rapping and just freestyling on the block and all that shit. But like I started to do music, and then like once I started to do music, I just understood that it's just about a catchy hook. So like one day I just woke up, you know, I just listened to certain things. So this song right here is Train to Go, you know what I mean? This is basically like the single on the Meet the Groans, you know what I mean, mixtape. Like everybody loves this song right here, you know what I mean? And you can hear the fine tunings of the beat and the instruments, the words clear, and you can tell. It's like, I don't know what you would want to categorize this type of music as, but you know, I just like to say it's top of the line presidential shit, but I don't know what they want to categorize it as. Yeah, we got that song right there. You know what I mean? That was engineered by Sebastian from Loue, and then we actually had our engineer that I work with, Mr. Old Boy. Shout out to my man Paulino. You know what I mean? I work with him, so he definitely made sure to clean up everything and make it sound how it has to sound. And I got him so in. We recorded this. Got him element. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You heard? Yeah.
Yeah.
So got him out of his element right here, and he got him back singing. He said he didn't even think he'd ever be on this type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Run shit, you niggas don't run shit. Gun shit, all of my niggas is gun shit. Gun shit, all of my niggas is gun shit. Gun shit, all of my niggas is gun shit. Run shit, you niggas don't run shit. Gun shit, all of my niggas is gun shit. Yo, hold on, man. I'm gonna have to come back in, man. My shit froze.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I can't see you, man.
All right, so that was a little bit of Presidential Grown and his music. This is your opportunity right now. We got about 10 minutes to ask me some questions. Well, he's gonna get back on live, so let's tune into him, and I'll still take questions. So, Prezi's gonna tell us a little bit about his project. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, man, my fault, man. You know what I mean? I have a male. Like he's compulsively like just texting me compulsively. Like I'm not even hitting him back. He sees I'm on live. He just compulsively texting me. I'm not even mad at him because his circumstances, he can't do nothing else. So the fact that he can even do what he's doing now, I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? He's down the road. You know what I mean? So anybody that's from down south, they know what down the road means, the chain gang, all that stuff. So you know what I mean? Back to what we talking about. You know what I mean? But yeah, Paulino, man, he produced this right here. And this is SP Banks. I was locked up with him. He did 13 years. Got locked up when he was like, I think 15. And just put him on board, man, with this, man. I didn't really want no features on it, but you know, this is long waited. So that's what we did, man. I got 10 tracks of Presidential on to Meet the Groans. So you know what I mean? If it ain't grown, leave it alone. Everything presidential. That's That's what we living by out here. So yeah, we shot a movie the other day. Shot a movie. Tell them about it,
So
Lou. You know what I mean? That's another aspect of this. Everything costs money. Everything costs money. Everything is
yeah,
about, you know what I mean, doing it correctly. So,
yeah. So that's another
but
thing. Your image. So tell us about an artist and their image, and that can mean anything from your covers, from your videos to you can elaborate.
um, I mean, honestly, I think it's just about entertainment and having fun. You know, don't take yourself too seriously because we've already seen that the people in this game, you know, they're saturated. You know, they're not really real. So you can only hold yourself accountable to what you know you're gonna do. So like you got to come into this game wanting to have fun, wanting to entertain. Can't take people too seriously because you're gonna lose yourself in your craft. So what I'm doing is I'm just keeping it all the way grown, everything presidential. That's what I'm doing. So we having fun with it. You know what I mean? Everybody that knows me is happy because I'm doing something productive and positive, and it's something I've been doing for a long time. And you know, everything's coming together, you know, especially like you said, certain things that you may not know can help you get further in this game. So like
Mm-hmm.
certain things that you taught me, certain things that you told me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I put my own spin on it
Of
and
course.
it's helped me succeed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, it's trial and error. You know what I mean? It's
So
trial and
tell me.
error. I have songs that I've
Mhm.
been put out that I'm playing for people and they're like, yo, man, I think you got better. And I'm like, yo, you was already listening to this before.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's all timing. It's all timing. It's about when it happens, how it happens, and the way you make it happen. So if you got CDs, you put out a video, there's forums in the videos, all types of shit. Like, yo, hold on, these dudes doing big things. But they don't really understand that there's a budget.
Yeah.
And within that budget, you're gonna do what you can do. So, you know what I mean? If I was to have more money, I'd probably be jumping out of a helicopter because I'm crazy like that. But
Yep.
I don't. So, you know what I mean? We do what we can do with the gang and we here and everything's presidential. So that's
Yeah.
what it is.
What was your process in creating that video?
To be honest with you, my vision within the video was basically for it to be like a New Jack City crossover with Paid in Full, but it didn't play out like that because it was so many people and it was so lit that it just turned into just like a block party, like a
Mhm.
mini block party. I'm not even gonna lie. So you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And the visuals on it, it was just a lot of energy and a lot of unity within it. So I
Yeah.
think they're gonna enjoy it on July 16th when we drop it, man, at
I,
9:30.
I can't wait to see that video. It's gonna be something
Yeah,
that nobody ever seen before. It's gonna be
yo,
president. It's gonna be
yo,
grown.
we turned Boston, we
You
turned
know.
Boston
So
into Miami, man. We turned it into Miami.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Word.
So I mean, what a lot of people don't know about the videographers there. You had two videographers there, and the type of things they had
Oh
there were
yeah,
like, and
man.
mhm,
I had some of the best shooters in the game shooting me, man.
mhm.
Some of the best shooters in the game, man.
Had some luxury vehicles there.
Yeah,
You
some
know,
luxury. Yeah, we had the I-8, Porsche, Carrera.
mhm,
The Range is there, all black smoke range.
mhm.
Benzes, you know, just trying to
Yeah.
make it, try and make it look as good as possible, man. That's it.
So
You know
we
how it
got a
is.
few minutes.
So
You
what?
talked about we got a few minutes left. You talked about Meet the Grown. You got that song that's hitting right now, Billy's Train to Go, and
This was gonna come after the Train to Go. That better bleed accordingly,
okay,
man. That BBA. You know what I'm saying? This is that dance music right here. That dance trap music.
how did you go about choosing the name? We got a
He
video
on
for that.
right now, man. Damn, man. Man, out now.
So what's the next video?
You said when's the next
What's
video
gonna be the next
dropping?
video? Yeah, what song?
Oh, the next video is definitely gonna be BBA.
Mm.
Definitely
And
gonna be that.
have you thought about what vision do you have for that video?
Oh man, just a dance off, man. Dance off, man. But you know I don't dance, so this is gonna be a dance off, man.
All right, man. So I'm finishing up the little class that I got going on. I think everybody needs to definitely go follow Presidential Grown. Make sure you subscribe to his.
Do that.
All right, the IG is presidential_grown 93. That's presidential with a Z. Make sure you pop that Music Grown. $10 a pop. Inbox him. Make sure you get that copy. All right.
Yeah, man. Meet the groans, man.
Tune in next Thursday, 7 o'clock. I'll be right here talking more about the creative process of becoming an artist. And that's it. Meet the Groans is out. Go cop it. I'm out.